From the warm waters of the South China Sea to the frozen tundra of the Tibetan Plateau, the Mekong River spans 6 countries, travels more than 4,000 kilometers, and binds together an incredible array of cultures and wildlife. Boasting a biological wealth second only to the Amazon basin, the Mekong River is the lifeblood of Asia. Cambodia, home to one of the world's greatest civilizations, the Angkor Empire. Born on the banks of the Mekong, this great empire ruled for 1,000 years over the whole of Southeast Asia. Angkor harnessed the power of the Mekong River. Complex irrigation systems provided food and fresh water for over 1 million people. As Angkor flourished, so did the animals that shared this water kingdom. Its people built intimate relationships with the wildlife around them. They carved images in stone and in turn into the minds of all Cambodians. Even today, 600 years after the fall of Angkor, the people and wildlife of Cambodia depend upon the Mekong for their survival. The Mekong River runs the entire length of Cambodia, touching everything along its path, including this, the Tonle Sap. It's known as the heart of the Mekong, for its rhythm is dictated by the ebb and flow of the river. It is here, where the mighty Mekong meets the region's largest lake, that something incredible happens. In September and October, the southwest monsoons come. When the rains come, this water world changes. Fishing families who live here ride the currents, eking out a living as best they can. They move with the rains, and as the lake floods, their houses move too. It's a water world that few could survive. The sheer volume of monsoon rain swells the Mekong River basin to capacity, which makes the river reverse its flow. Water is forced north up the Tonle Sap River, flooding the Great Lake. The lake triples in size, swallowing everything in its path. Nowhere else on Earth does a river do this. The seasonal flooding brings in nutrient-rich water, turning it into a huge breeding ground, supporting one of the largest freshwater fisheries in the world. Flooding here is a source of life, not disaster. One animal ruled this lake for hundreds of years.
Nhâm lư thọp lư cha cha dây to khné à nưng chụp bùa pa nhóm còn khơi to nàyสมัยก่อนกาเปียโปดสมัยโปดนึงก่อนเคยต่อเคยมีวิญญาณเมนจีรุกทมอเปิลนังวิญญาณจะวะวิไอตรำตรึจังอะพอไปเปิลซอไปไกลทมอกระหายกับเปิลเป็นกับเปิลปรอดวิญญาณเปียปอนไม่หนักเปิลนังป้าหน้าเลยเปียกี่คอมวัดยิงเยอะคอมวัดเด็กกันจังอะวิไอคลายจีกับเปิลเมน chơi ở dương khơi hai rồi dương khơi phèm phèm hóa thông thông mò bận tục dương chẳng mà cu miền mây miền trung mồ nên cái cán nó á cái cán cái khơi anh đang về rừng nị tiền rừng bất rồi ô anh đang sờ bồ mong và rừng cái đào tà lê dương xã sật mong bây giờ nữa pin.
The Siamese crocodile, so rare that they can only be found in cages kept by fishing communities along the lake. These communities are some of the poorest in Cambodia. All life here is on the brink. Owning no land, these floating nomads rely completely on fishing and snake harvesting. During the floods, it's this creature that allows the locals to survive. This swimming serpent, the Tonle Sap water snake, is found only here. It hides amongst the foliage, waiting for prey. Occasionally popping up for air in a rigid military fashion. But the snake has many predators. Families check their nets at dawn. At this time of year, while fish are spawning, fishing is regulated, so snakes are the only option. One snake that both man and bird fear is this highly venomous tentacle water snake. It hunts prey by anchoring itself to submerged branches with its tail. It can kill a human or a Tonle Sap crocodile with its poison. Fishermen have to be careful. During floods, cobras and pythons also get caught in these nets. The fisherman has finally caught one. It's harmless, a rainbow water snake. During the flooding season, lake people must harvest water snakes to survive. This fishing family will sell the snakes at the local market and eat those that are not poisonous. It's a brutal existence, and every year there are casualties, even deaths, from this dangerous harvest. The morning's catch is being sold at Chong Nias Market, Cambodia, on the edge of the Great Lake. This is the largest exploitation of snakes in the world. More than 4 million water snakes are sold a year via this market. In 2 years, enough to fill an entire soccer stadium. At this rate, it's unsustainable. And some species are in danger of dying out. Snakes are shipped from this market to China and Vietnam to be sold for food or traditional medicine. But many are simply bought by locals like this as food for their breeding farms. Chet and his nephew Pitch are typical crocodile farmers. They've lived their whole life on this lake. It's a daily trip to buy snakes to feed 20 hungry Siamese crocodiles that Chet keeps at the back of his house.
4 គីឡូ នៅសល់ 3 គីឡូ
His nephew Pitch spends his days with Chet. There is no school in their floating world.
ពូឲ្យទាំងអស់ណែសួរៗមកចានេះពូឲ្យគេនេះពូឈើដែរ
Most snakes from the market end up in places like this. Crocodiles, voracious eaters, can eat more than half their body weight in one sitting. The Siamese crocodile, or soft-belly croc, is nearly extinct in the wild. But here in Cambodia, nearly 20,000 are kept in captivity. Poached from the wild since the 1980s, they're bred for their skin, the softest of any crocodile. The business is in decline, but many families still raise them, hoping for an eventual payoff. A fully grown crocodile could earn them as much as $300. That's almost a year's income for people on this lake. But crocodile farms are controversial. Poaching decimated wild crocodiles. Despite the poor conditions, it's now these very farms that sustain the crocodile population. For hundreds of years, the Siamese crocodile made the Mekong its home. Today, they are amongst the rarest crocodiles in the world. Siamese crocodiles feed mostly on fish, amphibians and small mammals. They pose no danger to humans. Completely submerged, showing only nostrils and eyes, the crocodile lunges at its prey, exploding at up to 12 meters a second, dragging it to the bottom of the lake for it to drown before eating. Unluckily for the Siamese crocodile, it is similar in appearance to its larger, more aggressive cousin, the saltwater crocodile, which is known to attack humans. Mistaken identity could be a reason why they were nearly hunted to extinction. It's lunchtime for Chet's family of crocs. This many crocodiles take a lot of feeding. Up to 3 kilograms of snakes for each croc per week.
ខ្ញុំដាក់ឲ្យវាស៊ីថា4ថ្ងៃឬក៏5ថ្ងៃឲ្យវាស៊ីម្ដងមុនដាក់ត្រីកាលត្រីវាមានខ្ញុំឲ្យត្រីនេះមុនខ្ញុំដាក់ត្រីវាស៊ីបើឥឡូវវាអត់មានត្រីវាទៅពោះតែ4ថ្ងៃឬក៏3ថ្ងៃ4ថ្ងៃណែក៏បានឲ្យស៊ីម្ដងវាមិនសូវជាស៊ីនុយច្រើនប្រហែលទេ
Chet has spent his whole life with crocodiles, and farming them is in his blood. It's a cruel trade, but Chet feels he has no other option.
វាចំពោះខ្ញុំក្នុងសាកពើនេះវានិយាយទៅថាយើងមិនអាចអត់វាបាននៅទន្លេសាបគឺទៅតែចិញ្ចឹមវាព្រោះវាមានសម្រាប់សំខាន់ណាស់សម្រាប់មនុស្សនៅទន្លេសាប
Chet's conflicted. He knows that the animals are kept in poor conditions. But the crocs are the most valuable commodity on the lake, if not the only one. These crocodiles have become a lifeline to people on the lake.
ចឹងលុយចំនួនលុយយើងទុកមួយចំនួនអញ្ចឹងដល់ពេលវាមានផលឲ្យយើងវិញវាល្អរាល់ឆ្នាំឲ្យយើងយើងត្រូវការវាបានឲ្យផលយើងរាល់ឆ្នាំដល់ពេលវាចាប់ដើមពោគឺជាឆ្នាំពោម្ដង
Chet's crocodiles have reached maturity. In 4 months, when the Mekong reverses its flow, patches of dry land will appear, and the crocs will be able to breed.
ពេលយើងគ្មានសារក្រោយយើងឃើញថាពេលឃើញកំពើចាប់ដើមគេចិញ្ចឹមគេចាប់យកវាយកមកលក់ធ្វើស្បែកបើគេគិតថារបស់ហ្នឹងគេយកទៅទុកឬក៏ដាក់ក្នុងទៅទីសត្វសួនសត្វសួនអីវិញគេអត់ចិញ្ចឹមគេអត់ស៊ីវិញ
Scientists believe that with stable numbers of crocodiles in captivity, there's a real chance to reintroduce the species back into the wild. Young crocs are quick to defend themselves. People like Chet have grown up with them, but even the Siamese crocodile needs to be handled with extreme care. Chet is buying Pitch his first crocodile, but he's nervous. Even at 1 year old, this croc could take a nasty bite out of him. By the time they're both fully grown, it could be up to 12 feet long.
Họ đây nè, đây này là về cái thông tới cái mơ về mê mơ chmol bên này này có phết anh năng về có phết cái mơ tam bên này này cái lúc về mơ mê chmol ska về ball về kia vô tới cái vô mơ cái cái về mơ mê được chmol về chmol thì miền đo về tranh màu nó hay chmol đằng á cái phơi về phía xe nè dương trên trong về ban là o đằng ngày cao cái phơi dương
cái phơi này bọn anh vô bụi nam ao
phơi nè sầm khăn nè mai giờ lấy chặt đạch phu rồi dương trên trong về tết mai giờ lấy ở sân miền này miền là tết mai bên này dương trên không chi diêm trăng trong về về miền nằm lầy
phơi trong sả lai nhá chào ý.
For children living in this water world, there's little future outside of the village. Chet's childhood dream was to be a park ranger, one of the best jobs on the lake. But because he was the oldest son, his father insisted that he stay and look after the family's crocodiles. Chet now looks to his nephew to fulfill his dreams.
Nhom trong ở về Rosie chấm nuôi chẳng được nhom tề nhom trong ở về châu phơi cá khang năng mình rồi na cốt bên chẳng lọ kê du tới cái ạp đấy bây chơi có sát slab can tới về lọ chấm pu về rồi ngày cày máu dương score con trai dương score bụi sạch năng.
Chet's village lies on the edge of a biosphere reserve. It's home to some of the rarest water birds in the world. He brings his nephew and friends here as often as he can.
Chăm sóc bông vinh nè. Mơ. Chị thầm mơ. Thật xóa sau.
Chả sao ít. Không ai cái coi quen sao không ai.
Anh nắng cái hai smile. Rồi, ai khơi tiết cái sậy tiết.
Cái sậy sau slab sau á.
Anh hai cọc krong anh.
One particular bird grabs Pitcher's attention.
Sẵn nó chơi nè.
Sạch đó.
Sạch.
Marching deliberately on slender legs, the adjutant stork is a giant amongst water birds. It can grow to over 5 foot tall. Its long legs are perfectly suited for wading through the floodlands of the Mekong. These scavengers search the lake for carrion and offal, eating the dead. Because of this, they've evolved with no feathers on their neck to stop the blood and mud from sticking. Strong acids in the bird's stomach allow them to digest even bones. Large nest colonies are built precariously at the very tops of trees. Chet's group finds a young stork that has fallen from its nest and broken its leg. The park ranger will take it back to the station and try to nurse it to recovery. Even though it's only a juvenile, it manages to impress Pitch and the other kids. Chet hopes that a day out like today may plant a seed in his nephew's mind that a better future is possible. Although people and wildlife have lived along this lake for centuries, they are still at the mercy of the Mekong. In 4 months, this will be a forest again, but a vast amount of water, nearly 70 billion cubic meters, will have to drain away from this lake and travel south, back into the Mekong and beyond. It's festival day on Koh Tom Island, and everyone takes a break from the fields, heading to the water. Like most villages across the country, preparation is underway for the annual boat festival in the capital, Phnom Penh. The villagers pull out their pirogues, or longboats, for the first time this year. Thousands of large brown eyes view the race from high up in the trees along the riverbank. Today's preparations come on a festival day, Chen Vo Sa, or the end of the rains. Koh Tom lies 300 kilometers south of the Great Lake, nestled between the mighty Mekong and Bassac rivers. One of the island residents is on the move. Abbot Lee Pri has been a monk here for 30 years. He is a determined soul. The boat festival is only 2 weeks away, and the Koh Kong pirogue is far from finished. But Lee Pri decides the team needs a pep talk. But not everyone in this village pays attention to the monk. This festival marks an end to the rains and a chance to celebrate the coming of a new season. The villagers dress up and bring gifts to the monks. It's a happy day. But Abbot Lee Pri is feeling a little uneasy with so many people around. The abbot must take extra care to ensure the protection of the temple's sacred kaki tree and its treasure. For 30 years, Abbot Lee Pri has been the spiritual guardian of 5,000 flying foxes, one of the most significant colonies in Cambodia. Although they look like foxes, they're actually part of the mega bat family. Unlike their micro cousins, they don't use echolocation to navigate. Instead, they use their 2 large brown eyes to guide them. These unique bats have the same 5 senses as humans. Forming large roosts called camps, they hang high up amongst the tallest trees. In Cambodia, hunting and habitat loss have had a drastic effect on their numbers. In this village, bats are considered a barbecue treat. There is a real threat of them being caught and eaten, and the monk has them on surveillance 24/7. Educating the villagers doesn't always work, and it leaves him frustrated.
tô cho đó xung tăng pi sạch sầm máu ra thằng ăn tu chơi đấy cho anh nói cái hào sạch à.
The 78-year-old monk's connection to the bats goes beyond the physical. Pri says that while he meditates, the bats can feel his karma. He believes they are spiritual creatures.
Mai ơi đi nhà sát thầm nó gặp rạp rong thải cùng đô la trong tiếng dây ta thư thoa đó sát từ chiều chẳng này mà cà phê kia rồi riêng nên chỉ biết đối chợ mà cà phê chỉ biết đỡ bỏ mà chẳng đấy hay để mà bàn chỉ cà phê sát để nó không tí này đạp bấy ở cái địa bàn thì cái đây sốc rùm bộ miền chuyện một chùm luôn đại chỉ nắp tập rất mình là sao là thò nó vì bàn vừa bạt lặt nó bàn cắt sầm lấp đứa dọc từ chỉ chăm chỉ vật bỏ về vậy.
The monks offer spiritual guidance, but the villagers struggle to balance Buddhist principles with poverty. In this part of Cambodia, hunger means that all animals are on the menu, including the bats. It's nearly lunchtime, and the searing tropical heat is beating down. The bats flap the elastic membrane that covers their limbs. It's a bid to keep the heat off their furry bodies. Three stories above the ground, complex relationships develop. Sometimes things get heated. Tempers fray, and fighting breaks out.
Bà này về đó của mình bây giờ mà đi tập một tí nữa mà giang cứ đường hậu chấm đây há cái toạc này đây mà giang tiết cứ này ha nó bỏ về vậy mà cha nó pro này mà chụp pi bay đòn để chạm ban thằng cu nên đây đó anh nó cứ khăm cái chụp nó cứ rất là vô luôn hay mà đang tại cái nó khơi vô đang ta anh toạc này đường này hả mà cháu ai chuột này tại hà ai cùng chuột này ấy chừng chụp chuột này tao chạy cái này từ tuổi tiền tao năng mau chuột mà đấy chuột cái nhóm ấy và chuột này là tây bộ của gió bây giờ nãy trong phí cho hộp hơi.
The children of this Mekong islet enjoy life's simple pleasures. At the end of the villagers' day, the bats awaken. The coming darkness will cover them with a safety blanket, away from prying human eyes.
Mong for môi cái là nó bê cái hai chung người ta câu nó người ta tam và đo cái này và đo to nó lúc ra thì off và hay thì cái làm off đọc cái mong bay cái là năng khác có mong buồn mà đo bên đây ngay cái nó mong buồn mà đo.
The old monk has ensured his bats have survived another long wet season. With this species in danger throughout Cambodia, the monk prays that one day the entire village might listen to him, and that his karma will continue to protect his beloved bats. lightning strikes the Mekong, marking the end of a long rainy season. The Sun Kung family lives on the banks of the Mekong. The storm brings an opportunity to huddle together and tell of legends of the past. This story of the mermaids of the Mekong has been told to Cambodian children for generations. Long, long ago, a young girl's greedy parents married her off to a snake, whom they mistook for a god. On her wedding night, the snake swallowed her up. But the gods smiled on the girl and sent a fisherman to rescue her. He cut her from the snake's belly. The girl fell out, covered with snake slime. She was ashamed and dove into the river to hide herself. There the Mekong transformed her, making her a beautiful creature of the river, a mermaid of the Mekong, and the first ever river dolphin. Because of this, the dolphin should never be harmed, because they protect the waters and its people. Doing so will incur the wrath of the river gods. Sun Kun has spent all of his life as a fisherman on the river. He knows this part of the Mekong intimately. Sun Kun and his son are worried. It's been difficult to find this group of dolphins recently. The tourist season is about to begin, and the family relies heavily on the income of dolphin tours. Irrawaddy dolphins once numbered in the thousands, congregating in deep pools along the Mekong and in the Great Lake area. Now only 160 dolphins live on this stretch of the river. Just one other pod survives in the Mekong, 400 miles to the north in Laos. Small family groups spend most of their time feeding on fish and crustaceans. Like other river dolphins, their necks are highly flexible, enabling them to forage in shallow water along the Mekong's edge. These dolphins have a unique habit, spitting streams of water for over a meter, stunning fish and herding them together. An unweaned calf will cling to its mother's underside for 2 years, but will start taking fish as early as 6 months old. Sadly, these dolphins are critically endangered. History has played its part in their demise. Cambodia suffered from a dark and terrible past. During the brutal period of civil war, humans weren't the only ones targeted.
เคยเวียเกสลาเวียนั้นกิบันกับเพลิงจังบกเบสมันหมดปลายกับปีจังบันตั้งจับโลดอนเนาะโอ้ยโลดจับตะปะอะไรใส่เวียโอ้ยtới vôตะเมาเวียเมาปลายกับปีจังไปกี่vôตะหกđó cáiบันนั้นยูนให้นึกกบขอบใบvìคลั่งมันตั้งกบขอบใบvì ngọt traiปีmà ngày miền Hà học sập crop.
The Khmer Rouge and Vietnamese soldiers decimated the dolphin population. They killed them for their oil, using it to grease their weapons. Today, Cambodia is no longer at war, but this small population of Irrawaddy dolphins faces a new set of enemies: commercial fishing, habitat loss, and pollution. Though called river dolphins, these mammals are actually oceanic dolphins. Their ancestors once roamed the coastline from India to Australia. But a few dolphin pods made their home in the great rivers of Asia, from the Ganges to here in the Mekong, evolving into this unique river species. Their numbers are now so small that any outside interference could propel them rapidly into extinction.
Muốn cro nhóm cro mình tay trên kê mà phun tầm mà lời đấy bàn là tích nên về cồn trơn có dân rôn xóm đây phần nên xóm dân về mình xó.
Sun Kun is banking his family's survival on the dolphin. He is desperate to keep both alive.
Miền Tây sau nâng ban nhầm bạ chấm nô nâng ban thờ tục thờ tình quang ở Khmer riêng.
At this time of year, the Mekong turns a deep muddy brown. Its turbulent force keeps the dolphins on the edge of the river out of its vice-like grip. With the seasons changing, the water level will soon plunge, and the dolphins will then move into smaller pools to survive. It's a cycle that both the dolphins and the villagers are used to. Everyone in the village relies on the dolphin business. Even when Sun Kun isn't out looking for tourists, the dolphins are never far from his mind. For during the rains, the family must survive without the extra tourist dollars. And now, they're getting desperate.
Về lời nó về nó cro về toàn miền trơn. Từ những cái thành lục như trơn này từ mục tiêu. Chỉ mới thành lô sự chiến năng dỗ bàn màu nhưng mà.
With the rains nearly gone, Sochet waits for the first bus of the season. He feels the pressure to find his father customers. This town's future is tourism. The Crotty of today has a run-down charm. It attracts determined travellers keen to view the mermaids of the Mekong.
Hello, sir. Just maybe would you like to stay in my guest house? You can walk a few minutes, you will see my guest house, you know. We'll see.
But competition runs high.
My place is the corner here. You can walk a few minutes. No, I have got the dolphin tour also. The dolphin tour. Stargaze house is very old.
No luck for Sochet. He wonders how he can improve.
Bây giờ là hơi dân riêng tham hơi rằng ai giờ kết hợp bộ tê về cho chết ở vây dân ai tiếp trong chết bộ trong chết nhiều mùi ai chỉ cho chết dân hay ai rốt xì rồi chúng ta về làm thì ba.
The family can't afford to be without tourists much longer.
Từ mục đang nhận mày thế nhầm mình tiền đây nhầm tha phộp sau đấy về mình tiền về khai về ban tê sẽ cho về mình hốt nè ក្នុងផ្សោតហ្នឹងខៃលោវាបាត់បង់វាទៅអស់ទៅក្នុងគ្រួសារខ្ញុំក៏វាអត់ដែរវាអត់មានបានអីវាចំណូលអីចូលខៃលោបែកទៅបាត់អស់ហើយវាអត់ទុកចិត្តថាវានៅមួយកន្លែងពេលយើងដល់ពេលនេះបានផលពីវាពេលហ្នឹងខៃលោថ្ងៃក្រោយទៅគេទៅបាត់យើងអត់ដែរ
What's your name?
My name
At last, he's found someone.
My name is Sajid. Yes, nice to meet you. Yes.
I'm an engineer.
How long have you been in Cambodia?
Only about 2 weeks so far.
2 weeks. Okay.
The end of the rains brings a downpour of tourists. Everyone's on the water, keen to catch a fleeting glimpse of the elusive Irrawaddy dolphin. But there's no sign of Sun Kun. This amount of tourist activity around the dolphins could actually cause more harm to them than good. The engines and pollution cause tremendous stress. And everywhere the dolphins go, the boats follow.
Hello?
Sotjets made it in time. They are the last boat out onto the river.
And now the government to research the dolphin, but when the fish go jumping very fast, when the fish get in. Look, this one over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Here they are again, look.
Closer.
Oh, yeah.
All of this tourist attention could actually force the dolphin pod from its last refuge into extinction. It's a strange paradox that Sun Kun must wrestle with.
ពេលទេសចរមកអញ្ចឹងយើងការដែលយើងចលងទូកហ្នឹងវាប៉ះពាល់ដល់ត្រីផ្សោតហ្នឹងដែរប៉ុន្តែធ្វើម៉េចអាហ្នឹងវារស់នៅយើងរស់នៅរស់ស៊ីអាហ្នឹងយើងប៉ះពាល់វាហ្នឹងមកប៉ះប៉ុន្តែយើងជៀសវាខាងអញ្ចឹងទៅ
Sun Kun hopes that a balance can be found to ensure a future for his children. And he hopes that his children's children will still be able to see the mermaid of the Mekong and not just hear about her in fairy tales. It is almost time for the annual boat festival in Phnom Penh. Chet, the crocodile farmer, has decided to take his nephew Pitch to the capital so he can witness this grand event. This is the first time that either of them has left their watery world. It's a long drive. But Pitch is amazed by the dry land that surrounds him. He has never seen countryside like this before. It's the day of the boat races. More than 1 million people converge on the capital's riverbanks. The city bulges at the seams with rural Cambodians, eager for some fun after the hardships of a long season. But the fun and games hide a more spiritual reason to celebrate. Homage must be paid to the water god. He sent the rains that have provided this land and its people with a bounty for the coming year. This seasonal thread is so entwined in Cambodian culture that the king himself attends the event to pay his respects. The festival continues late into the night. They have never seen this before. The people, the noise, it's all too much for Pitch and Chet. But amongst the chaos, Pitch spots something familiar. It's a crocodile, although not one he's used to. This trip has been a coming of age for Pitch. He will remember it for the rest of his life. It's also time for his uncle to teach him about life outside the Great Lake.
ចិត្តទឹកចេញពីទន្លេសាបហូរទៅណា
វាហូរចេញទៅទន្លេមេគង្គហើយនឹងទន្លេចេញទៅខាងវៀតណាមទៅប្រទេសចិន3មុខវាទឹកសម្រក់វាត្រូវហូរចុះទៅក្រោមតាមទន្លេមេគង្គយើងរហូតដល់ទន្លេចេញទៅទន្លេវៀតណាម
គេដែរឃើញសមុទ្រដែរ
អត់ដែរឃើញផងប៉ិនលឺតាដឹងតែមិនលឺវាដឹងតែទៅសមុទ្របើមិនទៅសមុទ្រមិនទៅណាកើតព្រោះទឹកវាច្រើនអញ្ចឹង
Tomorrow, Chet and Pitch will travel upriver, back to their water world and their crocodiles. The Mekong now weaves her way through the royal capital, bringing with her life from the Great Lake and spreading it across the delta and beyond. The dry season approaches, and with it new challenges for the people and wildlife that share this great water.